So we made it over to Ellam's Beach, but before we could set up camp properly, we had to let the tyres down because I wanted to camp right on the beach front. And of course that's what we got. But guess what? I mean, it can only happen to me on a busman's holiday. You got to believe it. Here we are, roaring up the beach. I've got the line all sorted out. It's no worries at all. And, yep, I'm bogged. Oh, okay. So first thing to do, of course, is to let some more air out of the tyres. Handbrake really enjoyed this, watching me getting bogged. Ha! Didn't she call me a couple of things? And, of course, Lisa had plenty to say about it too. G.O. was just laughing because he later cleared it very easily. But I picked the one soft spot on the beach, as you tend to do, and with a bit of backwards and forwards, guess what? Nothing was happening. Now, about now I had a choice, and the choice seemed pretty easy to me. Get the girls working, get the winch out, let's get this out of here. At the end of the day, the winch still is the best and quickest way to get out of a hole, especially when you've left your tracks at home. And I had a new set of green tracks to play with too, but they were sitting at home on the bench. Never mind, the winch is always the best bet. Joe enjoyed having a go with it too. They always do at home, so why not? Well, you know, once we had the winch hooked up, it was a pretty easy pull. I was left thinking that the reason I don't normally get bogged in conditions like this is because I've got lockers both ends. But anyway, pretty soon we're having a bit of a race, see if we can set up the XT10 quicker than the camper trailer. And guess what? Even with a little bit of benefit of speeding it up, we beat them. Because this thing sets up that quick, it's not funny. Talk about a home away from home, except most homes don't have this sort of a view. And before you know it, there we were, all nicely set up for the night. And I got the barbecue out and cooked up some of the best steaks ever. Picked them up at the butcher's back in Cooktown, and they were fantastic. So we're all nicely fed, and the boys have got a big fire going, and we've settled in for our first night at Ellam Beach. It was just magnificent. Nothing to do except sit around and relax. And then the next morning, of course, wow, well, what a place to wake up and go for a morning walk. Pretty soon Gio's decided to go fishing, so I'm helping the lads set up some rods, which is probably a bit of a waste of time and why we didn't catch any fish. But Gio, he knows what he's doing. Either way, we didn't catch any fish. Tomo saw the local kids going for the crabs under the rocks with spears, and they were getting them, so he joined in. That was about as successful as it got for us. And there's a boatload of locals going out the other end. Notice the wake behind the boat. Meanwhile, the girls are absolutely flat out. And when I say flat out, I mean flat out. It's just so relaxing up the Cape when you're sort of, you know, middle of nowhere type stuff. And your mate falls in a hole. Oh, I just love the Cape, I really do. It's just a beautiful place. And you know what? This bird was the only guy who caught anything all day worthwhile, really. I mean, at least he got a feed going for himself. But we just had a wonderful time, just mucking around. I thought I'd better duck back to camp, you know, pack up the recovery gear from the night before. And, you know, I guess as much as anything, it was a bit of an excuse. I revved up the old Toyota. You should always do that when you're using a winch, put a few revs on it. And I wound the rope back in and, you know, made everything look all nice and tidy. But I guess my excuse was really I was hanging out for a cold beer, as you get at the end of another beautiful day up the Cape. See you next time for part 4.